Alright, so this is just taking what we know about plotting on a coordinate plane to the next step, and really being able to visualize those quadrants and those coordinates without having to plot them every single time, and knowing just some information about our coordinate plane. So the first thing here is, what quadrant would -3, 7 be located in? Well, that would be in quadrant 2 because, and I can kind of use this graph as a reference, when I go to the left, which we would be going to the left since it's -3, and that x coordinate means we're going right or left, and with it being negative, we're going to go to left. So we're going to the left 3, so I'm either going to end up in the second quadrant or the third quadrant. And because that y coordinate is a +7, that means we're going to be going up in the y coordinate. So I'm going to end up going to the left 3 and up 7, so that means it's a negative positive, so negative x, positive y, and I end up in my second quadrant, so I'm going to put a 2 here. Okay, and then the next thing says to give an example of a point that can be found in quadrant 3. Well, we kind of use this last one to help us out. If this ended up in quadrant 2 because we went to left and up, so negative and then positive, to go into quadrant 3, we're going to need a negative x and a negative y. So it doesn't matter what numbers you choose, but you need to have a negative number for your x. So I'm going to choose -4. And you're going to need a negative number, and I'm going to choose -7 for your y as well. You don't have to have the same numbers, but they both need to be negative because that's how it ends up in quadrant 3. This next part says circle all the options that are true about the graph below. So let's just go through each one, and if it's accurate to the graph, then we'll circle it. If it's not, we'll leave it blank. So A says point E is on the x-axis. So if I look at where E is, it is not on the x-axis because that is this number line. It is actually on the y-axis. So nope, that one does not work. You can either X it off or you can just not circle it. But that is not true. B says the coordinates for point B are -4, 6. So if I look, okay, I'm going to start at the origin, and I look at B, it is to the left -4, so far so good. And if I go up, yep, it is up at 6. So that one is true. It is -4, 6. So I'm going to circle it. C says the value, so that means the number. When we say the value, we mean what's the number of that coordinate. So the value of the x coordinate for point F is 7. Let's find point F, and if I look at the x coordinate for it, it is over to the right 7. So that means, yes, it would be the value of 7 for the x coordinate for point F. Then it says point D is in quadrant 2. Well, I know quadrant 2 is here, and if I look, I do not see D. D is down here in quadrant 3, so nope, that's false. I'm either going to X it out, or you can just leave it blank, whatever you prefer. The last one says to plot and label points G, which is 2, -4, and H, -5, 0, in the graph above. So we're going to do G first. So it has a +2 in the X. That means I'm going to go to the right to 2, because we always do right or left first. Remember that whole you need to run before you jump. So I'm going to go 2 here, and then it says -4, so I'm going to go down 4. So I'm going to go right here, I'm going to put a dot, and then make sure you label it just like the other points. Okay, and then H is at -5, 0, so that -5 means I'm going to go to the left 5, because again, we go right or left first. And then 0 in the y means I'm not going to move up or down at all, so I'm just going to go to the left 5, and that means I'm on that x-axis. So I'm going to put my dot there and label it.